Hi guys, on this video I'm replacing lower and upper timing chain on 2012 Audi A4 Quattro. Also, as you notice, I already loosened most of these bolts, including the main tensioner for lower chain. Most of them be taken out now by bare hands because I loosened this earlier before I even start this video. But I'll explain best I can and at least show on the video what I do to it. The lower timing chain looks like I have more details than upper one. There is a portion that might be missing too, but you can ask down below in the comments if you have to. If I know and remember, I will answer the question you have about this timing chain.
Always good to keep the rag and wipe it off too. Now if you see in there, the piston is dead center up there now. You can see them right to that hole. That tells you everything is in a proper gear.
I'm sure you noticed that I have crankshaft pulley bolt and little white plastic donut in the place. That actually has to go back in. As soon as you remove pulley, you have to put that in to prevent gears behind that to fall apart.
Now we gotta take this one off, because if you don't take them all off, you won't be able to get the chain off. Take that off slowly without moving any gears. And then take this one also slowly without moving any gears. You see the color difference on the chain? Put that one right in there. And this one also has a color that's gonna go on there as well, just like that. You see, now that's in. It's supposed to go on that tank, but it's not for some reason moving. Here you go. I don't like when that moves, you know. And then I'll put that bolt in it. So this one is gonna go right over here where tensioner will be at. Okay, you can see it's still on there, so when this push is gonna set right on, and that one is still on. That one is still on. So this one is gonna go just like so. These bolts, they all look the same. I was positive they would send the new bolts with the upgraded timing chain and all that stuff. It looks like they have not. So if you're using these old bolts, I'm gonna reuse it. So if you want to buy a new one, it's always a good idea. So I'll put the that new tensioner on there as well. Just making sure that on there. Okay, basically tie them all the way in by bare hands. And when you come all the way against it, that's when you want to use a torque. Okay, and this chain guide bolts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It shows this to be shop manual shows us 20 newton meters, which is 177 inch pounds. Not the foot, but inch pounds. Now we can move to upper chain. As you see, I already have a chain on and this locking tool that locks a gear, prevent them from moving. Your wrench will fit in there. You see how it moves when you put the wrench in there? It's not going to hurt it because you're moving just a little bit. So I'm going to get this chain out and then see how I put an right mark. But now I'm going to push this back, that way it locks it into place. It now sits there. I bring the camera closer. Now you can see that this mark is right on that. And then at the same time this one is. Now from the center line where timing chain guide goes to over here to the right, there's a mark on a chain. Should not be more than 64 millimeters. I believe anywhere in between 62 and 64 should be fine. That's the way I did it. I'm at 62.75, so I'm right in the middle of it. Then we'll measure from this point to that point, see if we have from 124 millimeters to 126. So I'm gonna also put right at that chain, and I'm gonna pull it all the way back to this chain. When I put that together, if you see, I have exactly 126. So now we're gonna be working down onto the chain. As you see, I just left the chain hanging. You can see that mark, the discoloration right there. I'm gonna remove the chain there, you can see. Now you see that mark right there. Right there. So this will go right on that. If you guys wondering why am I doing this in the first place, there's a big reason behind it on this engine. The original engine was misfiring on a cylinder 3 and was consuming a lot of oil. It would take about every 3 to 500 miles it would burn a whole course of oil. So that's considered a lot. So the engine has to go out of the core and be rebuilt. I'm gonna come up with other videos also that I have recorded. They might not be complete, but part of it. When I was replacing pistons and piston rings, and then that might help someone out just to see how does something look inside in details and stuff like that. Not meaning to follow my instructions to do same way on your motor or your engine. I would prefer rather get your repair manual for Audi if you have it, or whichever car you're going with, and just follow the repair manual. It's much safer. You don't have to search anywhere to find your correct spec torques, which is real important in this type of the job. And you really need to have a light and professional hand to do any of these, and then that way you end up doing the job properly. But having a repair manual is one important, very, very important tool to have if you actually want to perform this kind of the job. As you see, I'm gonna hand tie all these bolts, and then I'm gonna come back and torque them all down to the proper torque using a repair manual. They sent me 2 of these when I bought the chain. So this is exactly the same one that was in there before. The same one that I had. This one just slides on like that. And now what I left is to do is a tensioner. Tensioner is going here. I will put that tensioner in there too. That's an upgraded one if you see how it looks like. And then the old one, old style, looks a little different. That's the old version. Let's see, and this is a new upgraded one. You can see the difference. So the old version has this little gear right there. If you see, they need to click like 7 times. When they click 7 times, it doesn't go further. And if chain extends after that more, stretches, it just start doing damage. That's exactly what happened to this engine. So this tensioner actually did not fail. The chain fell on this engine. So upgrade the chain, the tensioner. You ain't gonna do much, tell you that right now. So a lot of them says they do fail, but they do fail. But chain on this engine, chain caused all these problems. Chain stretched it, and this thing couldn't extend anymore, the piston, and then the chain was just loopy and not do whatever it wants to do. So with this guy, and I won't release the spring yet, the trigger right here. Yeah, I don't like to use the drills on this yet. So there is no any rubber gaskets or anything behind this. It just goes straight to the engine block, like a machined whatever. So these screws, they do have torque specs. It's small, but they do have a torque spec. It shows as an instruction on the shop manual 9 Newton meters for these two little bolts. So it's barely anything. So this thing I'm gonna torque it down. And then this one also I gotta torque it down. They do all have a distance are 20 Newton meters. And I'm saying with these ones on the bottom that I was showing earlier. This one's at 20 Newton meters and those ones are 20 Newton meters. At least that's what the shop manual shows us. So, but if you do any of these, I do prefer get your own shop manual, purchased it online or whatever, get it from Audi.
If you can see on the bottom, I'm still missing upper oil pan and lower oil pan. So as soon as I receive some parts, I will put the oil pump together and then change for that oil pump as well. So this is basically it. After I pull this trigger, it will press against the chain guide, and that would be it. But I'm not gonna do mine yet since I'm waiting on some parts, and then close the lower and upper timing chain, so that would complete the job. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.